Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cryptids and Critters Paranormal. I'm your host, the Deuster, and today I want to share with you a few little things out of my book, Eye in the Sky. If you would like the Eye in the Sky or any of my books, you can go to Amazon or you can send me an email to ghosthunter911@gmail.com. That's ghosthunter911@gmail.com, and I will make sure you get a signed copy delivered to your mailbox. You can look at these books on my Facebook page, Soggy Bottom Bookstore, kind of give you an idea of what's in each one of them. The prices are actually on there too, but there will be postage added. If you want one sent to your mailbox, there will be postage attached to that price. Today we're going to talk about a subject that may be a little touchy to some people. It's biblical UFOs. You know, it's a known fact that UFOs, or unidentified flying objects as they're called, have been around for centuries and are really nothing new. In fact, if you read your Bible, there are several accounts mentioned by the prophets that seem to have no other logical or reasonable explanation. They're called chariots of fire, flaming horses, clouds of smoke and fire, and flying scrolls. Now, whether you wish to acknowledge this or not, these biblical eyewitness accounts have UFO written all over them. In fact, Isaiah 66, verse 15 says, "For behold, the Lord shall come in fire, and his chariots like the whirlwind, to render his anger in fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire." You know, amazing number of Americans, 95% to be exact, have at least heard or read something about unidentified flying objects. And the majority, well over 57%, believe that they are real. Many sightings from around the world are reported every day. In fact, former U.S. Presidents Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan claimed to have seen a UFO. You know, many citizens are convinced that the United States government, and particularly the CIA, are currently, as well as in the past, engaged in a massive conspiracy and cover-up of the UFO UAP issue, beginning in the late 1940s and continuing on to this day. Today, the term UFO has been replaced by a broader term known as a UAP, or unidentified aerial phenomenon. UFO, UAP, whatever you choose to call them, it all boils down to this. If it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, then it probably is a duck. There are several intriguing accounts in the Bible that could easily be interpreted by modern man as an encounter with a UFO. One of the most realistic biblical accounts that could be readily interpreted as a UFO encounter and possibly extraterrestrial contact can be found in the first chapter of the book of Ezekiel, particularly verses 4 through 6 and 15 through 18. Read these scriptures and then decide for yourself. Keep in mind that Ezekiel's description was based on objects that he was familiar with in everyday life and he could easily relate to. I'm pretty sure, had he lived in this day and age, he would have described it quite differently. He said, "I looked, and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by brilliant light. The center of the fire looked like glowing metal, and in the fire was what looked like 4 living creatures. In appearance, their form was that of a man, and each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings." He continued on, "As I looked at the living creatures, I saw a wheel on the ground beside each creature with its 4 faces. This was the appearance and structure of the wheels. They sparkled like chrysolite, and all 4 looked alike. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. And as they moved, they would go in any one of the 4 directions that the creatures faced. The wheels did not turn about as the creatures went. Their rims were high and awesome, and all four rims were full of eyes all around. Now, many UFO researchers, including the noted Swiss author Erich von Däniken, the author of Chariots of the Gods, claim that the Old Testament prophet Ezekiel was actually describing a flying craft, or maybe even a mothership with landing modules. I'm inclined to agree. The craft came out of the north with a whirlwind, took on the appearance of an immense cloud. It was surrounded by brilliant light and bright flashes of light that were as bright, if not brighter, than streaks of lightning. And at the center of the craft was a fire that looked like glowing metal, which would more than likely have been the propulsion system, such as maybe a rocket engine. The four living creatures with four faces and four wings were possibly the landing gear of the craft, each with a wheel to maneuver over the terrain. The four wings he described were possibly some type of propeller blades, similar to today's helicopter blades that are used to assist in vertical takeoff and landing of the craft. Or perhaps they might have worked as part of the navigation system. Excuse me. The eyes in the rotating rims of the wheels were possibly some type of navigation or maybe observation lights. Remember that Ezekiel had never seen lights of any kind before, with the exception of fire, the sun, the stars, and the moon. He described them as something that he had seen before and could easily relate to, which were eyes. It's also a possibility that Ezekiel was actually seeing and describing four smaller craft, such as landing craft, or modules that descending from the main cloud or mothership. Another event occurred in the Bible. Chapter 2 of 2 Kings describes what today may be considered an alien abduction, where the prophet Elijah was taken up to the heavens in a chariot of fire, while his loyal student and follower, Elisha, witnessed the event up close and personal. Not only Elisha saw this encounter, but 50 other men who were traveling with them were eyewitnesses, standing a safe distance away on the opposite bank of the river from where the abduction occurred. Also in the book of Zechariah, chapter 5, verses 1 and 2, describe a scroll flying through the air. And it says again, I lifted my eyes and saw, and behold, a flying roll. And he said to me, What do you see? And I answered, I see a flying roll. Its length is 20 cubits, and its width 10 cubits. In biblical times, a cubit measured about 18 inches. So this flying roll would have been dimensions of 30 feet long and 15 feet wide. And while the King James Version refers to it as a roll, other versions of the Bible refer to it as a flying scroll. There's more references in the Bible that could be associated with UFOs, and we'll touch base on them on a separate video at a later date. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel, give me a like, share your comments, and share this with your friends. This is a Dooster with Cryptids and Critters Paranormal, and we'll catch you later. Stay safe out there, and remember, we are not alone. We have never been alone.